Welcome. So today we're diving into something that honestly, every single one of us struggles with at some point. We're talking about the silent thief of our potential, that comforting little lie we tell ourselves when the work just looks, well, a bit too hard. We're going to unpack a truly brilliant story that perfectly captures the struggle, look at the psychology behind it, and most importantly, figure out how to actually break free. I want you to be completely honest with yourself for a second. How many times have you set that super ambitious 4 a.m. alarm, totally convinced that the you of tomorrow is going to wake up with superhuman discipline? You tell yourself, oh, I'll definitely wake up early and crush it tomorrow. But then, tomorrow actually arrives, the bed is so warm, the snooze button is literally right there, and suddenly the plan shifts to, you know what, I'll just do it this afternoon. It's a vicious cycle, right? Well, today we are exposing the real villain here. And spoiler alert, the villain isn't a lack of ability, it's the illusion of tomorrow. Part 1, the trap of tomorrow. To really understand this trap, we're going to follow the story of a young boy named Aryan from the village of Binjapur. Okay, let's really dive into this. We constantly beat ourselves up, right? We think our biggest problem is just pure laziness. But actually, scratch that. The reality is way more insidious. The real problem is tomorrow. Think about it. Tomorrow is the ultimate enabler. It lets us feel totally great about our good intentions while completely avoiding the actual work. It silently steals our success right out from under us by giving us this fake, cozy sense of security. Take our guy Aryan, for example. Now, what makes this situation so incredibly frustrating is that he is not lacking in intelligence at all. He's a really smart kid, a remarkably quick learner. When he actually applies himself, he gets it instantly. But all that natural intelligence is completely undermined by this chronic habit of procrastination. He's got this favorite catchphrase, basically a mantra for self-sabotage. He always says, I have time, I'll definitely study tomorrow. He rationalizes every single delay. He essentially convinces himself that his future self will just magically handle all the heavy lifting, completely ignoring what he needs to do right now. Part 2, Aryan's mistake. Now, with his annual exams rapidly approaching, the stakes get really high. Let's move along and see how this spills up over that final month. So at the 1-month mark, Aryan's mother gently warns him. She tells him, hey, study a little bit every day so you don't have to rush at the last minute. But Aryan, armed with his trusty illusion of tomorrow, just smiles and says he's got a whole month. He promises to start waking up at 4 a.m. tomorrow. But as you can probably guess, that tomorrow never actually comes. The days just slip by. The mornings are way too sleepy, the afternoons are spent playing with his friends, and by nightfall, he's just too tired. Suddenly, bam, we jump to just 2 days left before the exam. Reality finally hits Aryan like a freight train, and this intense, paralyzing panic sets in. Part 3, Failure and Realization. The tension has officially peaked, and Aryan can't hide behind tomorrow anymore. The night before the exam is just an absolute compounding disaster. Aryan opens his books and he is instantly overwhelmed by the sheer massive size of the syllabus he's been neglecting all year. I mean, it literally makes his head spin. And then, as if the universe is deciding to teach him a really harsh lesson, a sudden power cut hits the entire village. So now, he's reduced to squinting at these complex chapters by the dim flickering light of a tiny earthen lamp. The strain is just immense. Despite this desperate, frantic attempt to cram a whole year's worth of knowledge into just a few hours, exhaustion totally takes over. He gives up. And get this, even then he tells himself, I'll wake up early tomorrow and read the important questions. Man, old habits really do die hard. The very next morning, sitting in the exam hall, Aryan faces this terrifying psychological phenomenon. Because he haphazardly flipped through the pages the night before, the questions look kind of vaguely familiar. But when he actually goes to write down the answers, nothing. Complete blank. He recognizes the material, sure, but he is completely unable to recall a single complete answer. He's just sitting there, helplessly turning the pages, heart pounding, watching everyone else furiously writing away around him. It is pretty much the ultimate nightmare scenario of anxiety and unpreparedness. And then the inevitable result arrives. Aryan fails. His friends, the very same kids he was out playing with, who actually put in the quiet daily work, they all pass and move on to the next class. Aryan is left behind. But you know, the true weight of his failure isn't even the academic part. When he looks into his parents' eyes, he doesn't see anger. Worse, he sees this deep, profound sadness. And that is what finally pierces right through his procrastination. He's just overwhelmed by this heavy sense of shame and a really crushing realization of what his choices have actually cost him. Part 4, Grandfather's Lesson. This is where we see a crucial shift. That evening, carrying this huge burden of failure, a tearful and totally ashamed Aryan seeks out his grandfather out in the courtyard. His grandfather gently sits him down, points over to a small plant in the courtyard, and offers this brilliantly simple analogy. He asks Aryan, "If I don't water this plant every single day, and instead, on the very last day of the month, I just dump 10 buckets of water on it all at once, is it going to survive?" Aryan, with his head bowed, replies, "No, grandfather, it'll wither and die." The grandfather just smiles. Learning is the exact same way. The plant of knowledge only grows with a little bit of nourishment every single day. Trying to cram everything on the last night, that's literally like dumping 10 buckets of water on a tiny, fragile sapling. It doesn't nourish it at all. It completely destroys it. And then the grandfather delivers a line that is the absolute emotional core of this whole story. He says, "Tomorrow is a thief that steals today's hard work and tomorrow's happiness." I mean, just let that sink in for a second. By delaying the effort we need to put in today, we aren't just moving a task on a to-do list. We are literally robbing ourselves of the joy, the peace, and the success that we would have enjoyed in the future. Those words completely shake Aryan to his core. Part 5. The Power of Today. Aryan's Transformation. Those words from his grandfather act as a massive catalyst. Aryan makes a firm, unbreakable decision that very day. He is officially done waiting for tomorrow. But Aryan knows himself, and he realizes he needs a permanent, physical reminder to break his old cycle. So he creates this huge chart and pins it right up on his bedroom wall. The chart simply says, "Tomorrow never comes. What is there is today." Every single time he feels that old urge creeping in to say, I'll just do it later, this giant wall chart stares right back at him, grounding him entirely in the present moment. But motivation alone isn't enough. You absolutely need a system. Aryan built his new habit on 3 super simple steps. Pay strict attention in school, return home, and immediately review the lessons from that specific day. That's it. No frantic cramming, no terrifying, overwhelming reading lists. Just daily, manageable consistency. By watering his mind a little bit every single day, studying slowly transformed. It was no longer this massive, looming dark cloud over his head. It just became a natural, effortless part of his everyday routine. So the crucial point is, look at the contrast. It is literally night and day. The Aryan who always waited for tomorrow ended up overwhelmed and failing. But the Aryan who finally embraced today? By the end of the next academic year, he didn't just pass. He didn't just do okay. He became the top student in the entire district. No way, right? But it's true. His success wasn't the result of one frantic, exhausting night of heroic effort. It was the quiet, unglamorous result of making small, daily, honest attempts. The illusion of tomorrow is so incredibly comforting, but ultimately, it's a thief. Dreams aren't fulfilled in some mythical future timeline. They are built with the actual actions you take right now, today. So I'm going to leave you with a question. Which dream are you currently delaying to tomorrow? Identify it, call it out, and take just one tiny step towards it today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I truly hope you seize the power of today.